everyone, I'm Sandie La Nae. Welcome to Psychic Creations. We have a very interesting show for you today. Our guest speaker is a phenomenal intuitive reader, and she uses angel cards as her tool of choice. In fact, she predicted my television show, Psychic Creations, 5 years ago, and she also predicted my new radio show. Isn't that cool? She's cool. Please welcome to Psychic Creations the awesome Loretta Reed.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for having me today.
It's an honor that you are here with us. All right. Well, let's see here. I'm excited to have you speak to our viewers, and I'm sure our viewers are very excited to get to know you too. So, first of all, are you a native of Nevada?
No, I'm actually from the Bay Area. I was born and raised there. Moved here in 1997 after my folks moved here, 1993, actually the day my daughter was born, that's right. And which is why we moved, because my parents wanted to be close to the grandkids. So they urged us to move here.
Is that right? Oh, that will know. That's real nice.
That's how we got here.
Nice. And you like living in Nevada?
For the most part. I don't care for the cold. It was okay for a while, but now that I've matured, it's a little much.
Yeah.
But I love the wonderful people that I have met since living here.
Sure.
And the wildlife. I love when you accidentally go to, you go to the grocery store and there's deer. I love that.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Well, let's see. How did your love of the spiritual and the metaphysical come about?
Well, the spiritual part, I will have to say more so, was leaning towards Christianity. I kind of raised myself in that. My family didn't really have a belief, but I caught on to it when I was younger, introduced to it as a friend. So that's the closest as far as that question goes, but going into the spiritual metaphysical was totally by accident. Was not anything I was looking for, but it came about after my daughter had a dream about my father after he had passed away, and she depicted exactly what it was that he was wearing when he passed, and I was the only one that knew that. And I was like, oh my. So it was at that point that I started looking into things, finding out how that happened.
Sure.
Actually had gone to church and asked the pastor about that, and he said, I think she had an angel dream. And I thought, what? What's an angel dream? Yeah. I mean, I always believed in it. It was, again, a biblical part of, the angels Michael and Gabriel and everything. So I believed it. I just didn't think that it had to be so strong, or that it was so strong. Mm-hmm. So.
How interesting.
It was interesting. It was a little frightening.
Oh.
And it took me a good long time to accept it.
Did it? Okay.
Very long time, mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, sure, with the belief system.
Right.
You
mm-hmm.
get something kind of different thrown in there, kind of can floor you.
Well, again, angel means messenger, or divine messenger.
Oh.
So it's like, it's okay to believe in that, that God still talks to us, 2,000 years later. Why would it stop? But I just didn't really know that it could be so deep, or they could become so real, or they could be a part of your everyday life. Mm-hmm. It just opened up all new doors.
So that just takes us right to the next one. When were you inspired to become acquainted with the angel energies? Was it because of that dream, or your research later?
It was because of that dream, and then I started looking around as, to going to different psychics, having tarot readings, that kind of thing, because I first of all, I didn't know, again, that you could have that connection with the angels. Mm-hmm. So I looked around, and some of it I kept, and some of it I threw away, and
right, sure,
and then found by total accident. I found, I'm going to jump here. I found these cards right here. They're called Healing with the Angels. Mm-hmm. And I found these in a store. I went in at lunchtime, and they were looking at me just like this. Just, boom, there they were. And I was like, oh, well, that's a little different than the tarot cards. Mm-hmm. So I decided to pick them up and see what happened, and then that was it. Then it's all there. It never stopped.
That was your inspiration.
That deck was my inspiration.
Isn't that cool? Oh my gosh. Well, when did or what aided you in your decision to give intuitive reading using angel cards?
Actually, it was just practice.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Sure.
With friends after I had gotten that deck. Because when I was searching things out, 3 readers told me, "Oh, you're going to do this," and I thought, "Bet me, I'm not even sure I believe this. Let alone am I going to do this." So when I did get it, I would just practice on people, and they liked it, and then I was encouraged, "Oh, you should do this for a living." And I was like, "Well, maybe not for a living," but I've always been one that I always wanted to help people out. As a child, I wanted to be a counselor. So I thought, well, it's not quite exactly what I thought, but it's still pretty much the same
That's
thing.
your journey, your vision that you had of being a counselor, you're just doing it a different way.
Right.
Well, nice. Well, okay, can you tell our viewers what type of decks that you use? I know that you showed the very first one, but can you explain a little bit more in depth of what the cards portray, what information you get?
Sure. I only brought a few. I've got 19 decks.
19.
Most of them are from Doreen Virtue. I really resonate with her cards. I can read almost any angel deck. I haven't had any problem with that. Again, when I started out, I was getting tarot readings. I cannot read tarot. And it's just, I mean, I can read it, like I'm going to show you this one. This one is called the Guardian Angel Tarot cards. Now, I can read these as an individual card, but not as a typical tarot spread.
Okay, sure.
I think so. I think I figured out why, and I think it's because there's so much information the way that spread is, but I hear, you know, see, feel, and so I think that just combines all the energies, and it's too confusing with all the energies coming out of the tarot. So these are really gentle ones. I don't use these very often. I was just kind of intrigued to see, after doing this, could I read tarot? And the answer is no. So,
well, sure.
but these I go to because they're a little in depth, and so every so often I'll pull those out if I'm really not understanding something. So I've got those, and then the healing ones that I showed, these ones here, these are the deck I use most often. This is what I will start off with, and then I'll bring in some of the other decks. Like I've got a fairy deck that I use when I'm looking to see if somebody wants to move or if they're going to get a new job, things like that. So this, but I start off with this, and then we dig a little deeper. If I had to choose just one deck, like if somebody said, you know, you got to pack up and you got to leave today, this would be the deck that I would choose because it's so direct and it covers everything. So
it does. It
yeah.
does. I really like my Archangel Michael card. Yeah.
That's your guy right there.
Yeah,
he seems to show up a lot.
He does. He really does. Well, do you? Okay, you have 19 decks. You said. Do you use all 19 for a reading?
Oh, I probably could. That would make for quite the reading.
Sure.
But some, I mean, I pulled them out. Say if I was to have a client over, and I will usually ask, well, what would you like to focus on? Okay.
Okay.
So then I know which decks I can go through, and I could go, okay, we're gonna again start with the healing. Okay, we'll need Michael. They're looking for, I even have a romance angel, which is the hardest one for me to read. I would pull that one out. So depending on what it is, and then, you know, I have them all laid out and I'll just kind of stand over them and I get the feeling of which ones to choose.
Okay, sure.
So,
oh, nice.
yeah, I probably use, in a normal reading, I think I probably use 8 decks.
Okay. Well, that's kind of a nice variety then.
Yes.
You get confirmation from using each deck for a particular
Absolutely.
answer.
And that's, I'm so glad you brought that up because, you know, reading the cards, it's not fortune telling. It's guidance, it's direction, And
Good
like you
point.
said, mostly confirmation to go, okay, yes, this is happening, or yes, I knew I had to go that way, you know, that kind of thing.
Oh, good, yeah.
So, yeah, they're more so for that. They're not. People think that because we're psychic that we know everything about everything.
Right.
And these also, I will say, they're triggers, focal points. So to have them laid out, I can go bing, and then I can focus on that and give the client their information.
Exactly. I get that.
So,
I understand that. Well, how long does a reading usually last?
I think a good reading from me lasts about 2 hours.
2 hours. Nice.
Yeah.
I don't think I could talk that long.
Well, it's a give and take, so it's not just me blah blah blah. You know, people will I'll mention something and then they'll go, oh yes, I've been having trouble with that, and then they'll kind of discuss their issue, which again can trigger more thoughts and what you're hearing and what you can share. So between both, and it's a nice get to know you too as you're obviously getting into somebody's life there.
Well, that's true. That's very true. So you just get all kinds of information, confirmation, clarification.
Right.
You get the whole 9 yards.
Yeah,
there.
it's so fun too. It's so fun when you pick a card, but you've had that thought in your mind. Oh, this is what's going on.
Right.
You turn over the card. Yes.
There it is. There it
That's
is.
what I was looking for.
Nice.
So it's so
That's
much fun working with the angels, I think.
Oh, fun. Oh, I'm glad that. I think that they have fun working with you, too.
No, they haven't let go of me yet, thanks.
That's right. That's right. Well, can you tell our viewers the name of your business and how you got that wonderful, awe-inspiring title?
You know what? I so love it. My business name is Angel Answers. It also kind of came about accidentally from somebody who knew that I was starting this, starting to get into it and read it, and he just all of a sudden said, I think you should name your business Angel Answers. Not that I believe in it, but I think you should.
Oh, no.
Okay, well, thanks. And I thought, damn, I really do like that. I think I'll keep it.
Angel Answers.
Angel Answers.
That's a cool title, isn't it?
Yeah.
Very fun.
Yeah. So I'll say thank you for using him. If you only knew where I am now.
Well, where do you offer your angel card readings?
I like to do them at home. That's my favorite place to do them because I have access to everything. And sometimes during a reading, again, you'll get something else that pops up and you'll go, oh, I want to go ahead and use my Indigo Angel cards. And so I can just pop up and do it and add them to the reading. So I like to do it at home, but I also do online. It's a third party. I work for a company called Keen, and that over the phone. I do that. I just use my intuition, listen to the angels. I don't use the cards because it's pay by minute, and I don't like to waste. I know it sounds bad to say it, waste people's time by having to go through the cards.
Sure.
I don't need to use my cards.
Right, sure.
So I like to use my cards, so I just do it intuitively over the phone.
That's very nice. And you've been doing that for, gosh,
about 10 years.
10 years, yeah. I was going to say that's a long time. That's you've probably garnered a nice clientele too.
Yes, I do have a really nice one, and I've had some of my clients, since I started. I've had some for 6 years. It's always exciting though when you get a new client too.
That is,
so,
yeah.
Because you like to be challenged.
Yes, that's a good word. That's right.
So, yeah.
Right. Well, now you have a very unique and interesting philosophy on using angel cards for your readings. Can you give our viewers detailed information and insight about that? This is really cool.
Absolutely. It's, it actually came about with my own struggle of years ago. A friend of mine was teaching me, you have to allow, when I would be struggling with a situation, and my thought was, what does that mean? What does that mean? So I finally kind of caught it a couple years ago what that was, and then when you asked me about it, I thought, So I call it the ask and allow now. When you work with angels, you have to invite them. They cannot interfere or intervene unless they're saving you from early death. Okay, so one of the things that we have to do is be specific, okay, in asking for what we want. And I learned something this morning. It popped in my mind. I know I'm going to share that, but I just wanted to let you know. The asking is being very, very specific and very selfish in what it is that we want. I know we're taught not to do that, but how else are we going to get what we want? So in this little book, I'm going to go ahead and show this. This is called the Prayer of Jabez, and it's a fabulous book on being blessed and asking God and the angels and your powers that be. And in this book, it has a little story about somebody getting to heaven, meeting Peter at the gate, and he is giving them a tour of heaven. And what happens is he gets to this one point and he says, well, let's hurry along. And the man goes, well, why? What's over there? Oh, it's okay. You don't want to know what's over there. And the man goes, yes, I really do want to know. And he says, Peter says, no, let's just pass that. He goes, oh, please, what is in there? So he goes over there, and what he does find is that it's a warehouse. Oh. And when he looks around this warehouse, he sees that it's filled with all these white boxes, red bows, and name tags on them. And the man is kind of flabbergasted, and he's like, well, do I have one? And Peter says, well, yeah. And he says, well, can I look? And he says, you probably don't want to see what's in there. And he says, well, why not? And he says, you just probably don't want to know. And he says, I really want to know, Peter. He's like, okay. And he takes him over and shows him his box, and it's got his name on it. He's all excited, and he opens it up, and he sees all these wonderful blessings. They're just sitting in this box. And he says, well, are these mine? He goes, they could have been. He said, but what do you mean? He goes, well, you never asked. So here was this warehouse full of everybody's dreams and wishes that they kind of held, but they never asked. Mm-hmm. And so that's the first part. The second part is the allow. When we put that out there to God, angels, universe, whatever your power that be is, we have to step back and release what it is that we expect, how we expect it to look, how we expect it to feel, how we expect it to smell, everything, and just allow for your power that be to bless you the way that you see fit. The fun part about that is they'll always want more than we, because we don't think we deserve. So that always will come about in the readings when we're putting out the card. There's something that you want, that and it just takes the allowing. And I think that's the hardest part, the allowing. Or we can call it even the surrender. The surrender part, God always seems to ask us for what we love the most. Man, that is the hardest thing. He's always like, this is what I want. Are you willing to give it to me? Are you going to have the faith? And it's the same thing. You have to have the faith that you're going to get the blessings. So now it's easier for me even to just go, okay, this is what I want. I'm very specific. Now here's what I started to tell you. When we moved here, my folks wanted us to move here. Mm-hmm. I had in mind I didn't know what this philosophy was yet. I had in mind what I wanted. I wanted a house with a yard, somewhere by a park, somewhere close to a school, because my daughter, I wanted to eventually have a lasso opso, 3 bedrooms. I just wanted a peaceful neighborhood. But the funny thing is, I realized this morning, is my dad found the house. I never saw it. My dad found the house. I also asked for a green kitchen. I wanted, at that time, that deep forest green was in, and I wanted a green kitchen. This is where the specifics come in. My dad got this house, yard, all of that. I got a green kitchen. I even got a green kitchen. But it was 1970s avocado green. I didn't want 1970s, but I wasn't specific. I said a green kitchen.
And you got that.
Yeah, so it was funny. I was like, okay. And that's how I learned about asking for specifics. And then in addition, 2 months later, I got to adopt a Lhasa Apso dog. So I got everything that I wanted, but I never asked. It was just in my heart. And my dad found it. I didn't get to go look for this house.
Interesting. Very interesting.
I thought that. I was like, wow, I never put that together before.
Yeah.
I'm like, cool, I love miracles.
Oh, sure. That was a very nice miracle. Your dad found that for you.
Yeah.
And it was everything you wanted.
Everything I wanted.
Except
and
the
what,
avocado grade.
Yeah, except, yeah. And what wasn't exactly, my dad fixed it.
He did.
Yes, he did.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be darned. Isn't that awesome?
Gave my
then?
daughter a pink Barbie room and a Mickey Mouse bathroom.
Is that what she wanted?
Yes.
Oh, how fun.
So, yeah, that was this, I thought, wow, that's ironic, because they were looking out for me. They knew the desires of my heart, but, and I asked for it, but it came through my dad. I didn't go pick it out.
Oh, that is cool. And you've got some other books there that you could show our viewers too. That you recommend these or?
Absolutely. This one here, I love this. This is Angels by Billy Graham. We all know Reverend Billy Graham. One of the things I really love most about this book is, again, this is what kind of helped me embrace the angel work with Christianity, because there's, if it's, not what people believe are evil, so far from it. One of the things is, that he says we're not alone in our life experiences, and I'll tell you that is the honest truth. And talks about how we're supposed to allow for the angels to guide us. That's why God allowed them to be here. So if you have a little trouble with it and crossing it over, fabulous book about letting the angels be a big part of your life. God sent them for us, so we didn't have to struggle. So why we don't believe or why we don't use them, I don't know. But so that's a good one.
Okay.
My second one, I found this at a little thrift store. It's called Commune with the Angels. It's called A Heavenly Handbook by Jane M. Howard. I like this one because it breaks down angels, breaks down their hierarchy, what realm of the angels do what kind of work, who you call upon, things like that. And it's what it says, it's a heavenly handbook. So if you want to just know about them, if you don't know anything, if you have some knowledge but you want to get more in-depth, and it's so easy to understand. So this is, I recommend for people who have a further knowledge. I want further knowledge of angels. So
these are all part of your philosophy of what you believe, how you read the information you get.
Absolutely. These three mostly. The Prayer of Jabez, like I said, that one. Is the one with the story of the white boxes and the red bows. Okay.
That's a great story.
This is the one that tells you about having to ask the angels to intervene. And again, like I was just saying about the hierarchy, who you want to call upon, where does Michael fit in opposed to Gabriel or Uriel, their kind of work. I really like that one. And then again, Billy Graham, just very good, very strong, and gives us the okay as far as angel work.
Nice.
So yeah.
Those are wonderful books.
I love those. And in fact, I use that we are not alone in our life experiences.
That's a...
Copied that for my profile because I believed it.
Nice. Very nice. It is kind of nice to know that we're okay.
Yeah.
How long?
5, 4, 3.
Loretta, can you please tell our viewers the type of visions that you get? This is so interesting how she gets her visions and information.
Absolutely, it's fun for me. I really love the way that the angels speak to me. They speak to me in either movie clips or song lyrics, and I had a hard time at first accepting that I'm like, what is going on? But I think that they do that because it's easy for me to explain, because most people have either seen, the movie or heard the song. Now, in the songs, it's not necessarily the whole song. It doesn't even necessarily have to be what the song's about. It just has to be like a line. You know, the song, like if somebody is struggling with their self-esteem or trying to get a new job. I know this is funny, but my favorite artist is John Mayer. And I get things like if somebody is struggling, I get his song, they'll play it. My body, bigger than my body, it's called, and it's about, you know, having that all inside, but feeling, trapped in that little body. I know I'm worth more. I'll do that. I'll get things like that. I know I always use this one. The song "When I'm Missing My Dad" is the song of Breakfast Club. "Don't You Forget About Me." I get that one when I'm really missing him. Or like movie clips, and I know I use this a lot too, but I just find it hysterical, is the Beauty and the Beast, when, you know, he's in the tub and she's, you know, they're scrubbing his teeth and they're washing him and they're combing his hair, and that's when I get the vision when somebody needs to clean up, where you're being washed clean and you get to rise above, and, you know, and after, you know, he gets his hair cut and he says he looks stupid. And then he gets to go down and he gets to dance with Belle. But I get that vision when it's time to clean up or leave something behind. But it's those examples that stand out because they're just so fun.
They are fun.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, isn't that neat?
Yeah.
And so song lyrics and movie clips.
clips.
And isn't that interesting?
I love it. I get tickled when they talk to me like that.
Are they very powerful, or are they hilarious too at times? Or
But yes, both. Some of them could hit me like a brick. Whoa! And then again, some are just so funny. You know, I'm sorry, I can't think of one right now that when I'm on phone with the client, then it's like bing, and I'll share it with them, like, oh yeah, I know, I get that. And so again, I think they do that so it makes it easier for both of us, me to explain and them to understand.
Well, they sure would be attention grabbers.
Oh, they're fun.
Yeah, they're a lot of fun. Well, let's see, to wrap things up, could you give our viewers your contact information?
Yes, I'm going to use a cheat sheet because they're so long.
Okay.
I hope you can see that, because the Angel Answers Reading at gmail.com. Okay, that's to set up an appointment. So you can reach me at home, okay?
Right.
And just send me an email, let me know what you're interested in, and then I could call back. Or the 1-800-ASK-KEEN, that is the website that I use. 275-5336 would be that number. And then my extension, that's why I wrote it out because it's so long, 016-202-17. Or you can find me at L62. You have to put the little space, L62, and it should bring me up that way.
Nice.
Yeah, so
Get a hold of you all over the place.
absolutely.
Nice.
And again, if you could do it face to face, so much fun,
Yeah,
and you get so much information.
you do.
So
You do. Lots of information. It's phenomenal, the information you get with the readings from Loretta.
So
Well, thank you. Thank you so very much for being on our show today. I'm sure that our viewers just love the heck out of you.
oh well, thank you so much. I'll love the heck out of them back.
Nice.
So thank you for having me again,
Thank
letting
you.
me share.
This was fun. Well, if you would like to be a guest on Psychic Creations, you can contact me at my website, which is www.sandiepsychicstones.com, or at my email, which is admin@sandiepsychicstones.com. Thank you so much for watching Psychic Creations, and we'll see you next show.